Hey, Shalom, we the I.S.U.P.K. started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Gen.YAHANNA. I'm Priest and Officer GEN.YAHANNA. This is the Thursday night history class. If you have any questions, of course, type them in. If not, we're gonna, proceed on with the topic. I'm gonna open the floor, give people time to, come in, ask the questions if you have any. If not, whenever you get a question, just raise your hand or type it in. Any questions in the room? No questions in the room. All right, let me know if we get a question online. So today, what I wanted to do, I wanted to go into a little bit of the history of, a lot of people like to bring up certain books that they say supposed to be in the Bible. As your time in the truth comes, what you would start realizing is that a lot of people would start bringing up, like, you're going to hear certain things over the year. You're going to hear people bring up stuff like the Book of Enoch. You're going to hear people bring up stuff like the Book of Jasper, the Book of Mary. You're going to hear people bring up all types of crazy stuff like that, right? And then some people are going to use scriptures and say, look, this how I'm right? So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the history of these books that people say belong in the Bible. And one thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a few of the so-called verses in these books and show how they contradict the Bible. The Bible itself have no contradictions whatsoever, zero. So if they put out a book and say this book is attached to the Bible, you know what that means? Do some research, read the book. If it don't links up with the Bible, then guess what? There's no way that it can be a part of the Bible. So one thing, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into first. Let me see. Hold on, let me. What I'm about to do first, I'm about to send you. I'm about to send you this website, right? And then you can go into this. This is like the Book of Jasper that you can find online. You can go into it. So what I'm gonna have you do, you got it. All right, let me read. All right, hold on, let me see. Read 29 and 11. This is in the Book of Jasper, chapter 29, verse 11.
It says, and Jacob was very much afraid of his brother Esau, and he rose up and fled to the house of Eber, the son of Shem. And he concealed himself there on account of his brother. And Jacob was 63 years old when he went forth from the land of Canaan from Hebron. And Jacob was concealed in Eber's house 14 years on account of his brother Esau. And he continued to learn the ways of the Lord and his commandments.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get to the scripture I'm saying. Oh, read it again.
This is Jasper 29 and 11. It says, and Jacob was very much afraid of his brother Esau, And he rose up and fled to the house of Eber, the son of Shem. And he concealed himself there on account of his brother.
Now they said Jacob was so scared of Esau, he ran to Eber, the son of Shem. Right. So Jacob went to run away from Esau, and he ran unto the house of Eber, the son of Shem. Remember that. Read it one more time, matter of fact, so they can get
It
this.
says Jacob was very much afraid of his brother Esau, and he rose up and fled to the house of Eber, the son of Shem.
So because he was scared of Esau, he ran to Eber. Eber was the son of Shem. Now, Jacob ran unto Eber. Eber is, of course, where we get Eber in the Hebrew is Ibar or Abaryah, which means Hebrew. That's where the ancient Hebrew come from. It come from Eber. How could Jacob flee to Eber? Eber is way before Jacob. Eber is like it's a ton of generations before Jacob. Eber was around the Tower of Babel. Like, how could he flee there, right? So, but that's not even the contradiction part, right? So Jacob flee and went to the house of Eber. What was the house of Eber? The son of who?
Shem.
The son of Shem. Read on.
And he concealed himself there on account of his brother. And Jacob was 63 years old when he went forth from the land of Canaan, from Hebron. And Jacob was concealed in Eber's house 14 years on account of his brother Esau.
Jacob hid from Esau for 14 years at Eber's house. Right? Now let's get Genesis 28 and let's start at 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 4. It says, and give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed, with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padanaram unto Laban, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padanaram to take him a wife from thence.
Now Isaac sent Jacob away, but he sent them to where?
It says, went to Padanaram unto Laban.
Right. He sent Jacob to Laban's house. But in the book of Jasper, it's saying that he fled to Eber's house. It's a contradiction right there. So did he go to Eber's house or did he go to Laban's house? He went to Laban's house. Why? Because Esau seen that he blessed him. Esau, of course, we know Esau felt some type of way. So Isaac sent Jacob away to Laban's house. But in the book of Jasper, it's saying that Isaac sent him to Eber's house, which makes no sense. Read on.
It says, when Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padanaram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And Jacob obeyed his fathers and his mother, and was gone to Padanaram. And Esau, seeing the daughters of Canaan, pleased not Isaac his fathers. Then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son. the sister of Nabojah to be his wife. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he.
Let me see.
This is verse 10.
Salagi.
I'm on verse 10 that I just read.
All right, verse 10. All right, bet. I'm about to send you something else. Yeah, we're going to get that.
13? Okay.
13 and 5.
Book of Jasher 13 and 5 says, arise now, take the wife. And now take thy wife and all belongings to thee, and go to the land of Canaan and remain there. And I will there be unto thee for a God, and I will bless thee. And Abram rose and took his wife and all belongings to him, and he went to the land of Canaan as the Lord had told him. And Abram was 50 years old when he went from Haran. Verse 6.
Now, hold on. Read that last part again. How old was Abram when he went from Haran?
It says Abram was 50 years old when he went from Haran.
So when Abram left Haran, he was 50 years old, right? That's what the book of Jasper is saying, right? Let's go to Genesis 12 and 4. Make sure y'all writing these down. So when this conversation comes up about, book of Enoch, book of Jasper, all these, in the book of Jasper, it just says Abraham was 50 years old when he left from Haran. Let's see what the Bible says. This is how you prove that these books that they try to tie to the Bible is garbage. Right? It's just garbage. It's just people adding on their doctrine and what they believe to the Bible to best fit their argument. Let's read.
Genesis 12 and 4. It says, so Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 70 and 5 years old when he departed out of Haran.
Now, the Bible just said Abram was 75 years old when he left out of Haran. The book of Jasper say he was 50. I think I might believe in the Bible on this one. They tried to say these books were taken out of the Bible. Well, a lot of the stories they talk about don't links up with the Bible. So if the book of Jasper is telling a story out of the Bible and say Abram was 50 when he left out of Haran, but the Bible say he was 75, I don't know. That's like what, strike two? It seems like that's kind of garbage to me. Go ahead.
So if I could, right, it's kind of like a lot of times in the New Testament when you're reading about the same story, but it's slightly told different. But when you go to it and you read both versions, they still basically the same thing. It's just
right.
It might be like basically it sounds like somebody wrote it different, right?
Right.
But it's basically the same exact story.
Right.
But this is like, you know what I'm saying? Like
they messing information up that you can't mess up.
Right. It's like, well, okay, if Jacob got sent away. You saying Jacob ran from Esau scared and went to go stay with his great granddad.
Right.
Or his great granddad.
Right.
But what actually happened is his father said, hey, listen, you're gonna go to her family's, your uncle, I think, right? His family, his uncle.
Yep.
You're gonna go to your uncle's house and you're gonna get you a wife over there. You're gonna go stay with them. So you're gonna basically it's like your son grew up and you sending him away to somebody that you know got a job for him and he gonna get married.
Mm-hmm.
So you send him over there, and that's your plan as a father. And somebody else
right.
later on right now. Oh, he was scared, so he went to his great granddaddy.
Right.
Family or to his great granddaddy, where his granddaddy still is at. However you slice it, you can't fit them two at the same time.
It wouldn't make sense. It'll be like, what? I didn't send him there because he was scared. Send him there to have a better life. It's like
and that's not where he went.
Right.
He went to
Right. He went to his uncle's.
That's
He didn't go to his
know.
right. He didn't go to his great grandfather's house. He went to his uncle's house. Like details like that, you can't mess up. It hurts your argument. They teach you that in court. I mean, you can't mess up details. Oh yeah, he was 50 when he did it, and then another account you saying, oh, he was 75 when he did it. That's a 15-year difference. That's
that's 25.
Oh yeah. Oh, Salakia. That's 25-year difference. Salakia. That's a 25-year difference. 50 to 75, right? That's a 25-year difference. You can't mess up a timeline like that. I mean, messing up a timeline like that is kind of rough. You know, that's a lot of information you missing in between. You know, a 25-year difference. You can't do that. Hey, Sean, what's going on, brother? So yeah, you go from he was 50 when he left Haram, and then another account saying 75. Nah, you can't make that mistake, bud. Your argument is you trying to prove to me what you're saying is true, but it's hard when I'm telling you I have the facts right here, and you saying, nah, these are the facts. But then when I read your facts, it's off by, it ain't off by like a couple months. It's off by 25 years, which is crazy. Go ahead.
And if I could, what's funny about that is, like, and here, you know, we learn to get everything precise, you know what I'm saying? Don't be sure, make sure type of mentality. And it's like, I feel like the people that I ever seen bring up the book of Jasher is like them the type of people that don't understand court. Like Esau is laughing us out of court.
Right.
The lawyer is gonna destroy these two premises right here, and he gonna make you focus on it and embarrass you in front of the judge. And it's just like, that's just not good. It's like, I sent him to his uncle's house to get a wife. He didn't go to his granddad's house. And like you said, 25 years, it ain't like I say a 2-year gap. It's like, if enough years pass and y'all mess up on a 2-year gap, y'all wouldn't really count it like that. That's one thing. But a 25-year age gap, it's like you might not even talk about the same person.
Right. Yeah.
Man, like who the hell is that?
Yeah, that's 25 years. That's definitely somebody else. That's
another Abram that stayed over there.
right. That's not this. That can't be the same person. You know that we're talking about. Right. And all right. Let's read on. You got any questions? No questions. All right.
You want me on Genesis 4 and 5?
What we just read out the book of Jasper.
The one where it said he was 75, or you got another chapter you can read.
Oh yeah, yep. Hold on, let me send this to you. Now this one right here is crazy because this is a story. You don't even have to know the Bible to be familiar with this about the Red Sea, right? It's about the Red Sea. This 81 and 38.
You said 48.
38. Yep, 38.
This is the book of Jasper, chapter 81 and verse 38. It says, and the waters of the sea were divided into 12 parts. And the children of Israel passed through on foot with no shoes, as a man would pass through a prepared road.
So this is talking about the Red Sea, of course. The book of Jasper just said that when Moses parted the Red Sea, he parted it in 12 parts. Where in the hell he get that from? It just said he parted the Red Sea in 12 parts, which is crazy. Get me brother, if you could get me Exodus 14 and 22. Read that again. The book of Jasper. Read 37. Let's start from 37.
Jasper 81 to 37. And Moses did, and he lifted up his rod upon the sea and divided it. And the waters of the sea were divided into 12 parts.
So Moses took his staff and he lifted up his staff. He put it down and it divided the sea. It divided the sea into 12 parts. Read on.
And the children of Israel passed through on foot with shoes as a man would pass through a prepared road.
So, and the children of Israel walked through these 12 parts that he divided the sea with. Moses divided it in 12 parts. Okay. Now let's see what the Bible say. Exodus 14:22.
Book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 22. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground.
Let's go to 21.
Verse 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all the night.
Moses put his hand out, and the Lord sent a gust of wind that moved the sea back. Read.
And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all the night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided.
And Moses stretched out his hand, and the Lord went to divide the sea from a strong wind. No, tell him no. Tell him la. It's like, nah. So, Lockie, go ahead.
And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left.
So when Moses went to divide the sea, it said the waters became a wall unto them. Water on the right hand and on the left hand. Read on.
And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all the Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians.
Right. So the book of Jasper said that he divided it into 12 parts. The Bible just said it divided it on the right side and the left side, which would be one part. Hey, tell him that's $200. So if the Bible say that he divided the water on the right side and on the left side, how many parts is that? One part, technically, because they walking through one part. So when he divided the water, it formed a wall. The children of Israel walked through. The book of Jasper said he divided it in 12 parts. Damn, I ain't never see that. Like, they don't even show that in the movies. They just show they just walking through one road. But according to the book of Jasper, he divided it up into 12 parts, which makes no sense. That's not true. Go ahead, I-S-U.P.K.
I would say, why would you even divide it into 12 parts?
I mean, you just need one.
That's my question.
It's right.
Even ask, the Egyptians is coming. I think some of us should run this way because we in the back. So if we go this way, we must be gonna get to the same place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We might as well just scatter through this joint, or we all go through the one part.
Right. Well, just one big part that could fit everybody in there. Why 12 parts? Like,
that's confusing, especially if you run.
Yeah. Because now they don't see Moses. They don't know where they're going, really. They don't know that they're supposed to go to the other end. They're following Moses. So what about he in this part? So what about the of 11 parts.
How would you even break the 12 parts now? Do it go like this? Or is it like
Right, like, is it divided? Like, they gonna be in that, like, where Moses at? I ain't crossing this.
You put us in the maze.
Right. They gonna, man, I'm walking, I ain't crossing this and this closing on me. What the hell? Like, nah, I want to see Moses. Where he at? All right, bet. That's where I'm moving with him. He did this. Like, so why not just make one big gap? Why do 12? It seemed more, logical to them. Oh, it was so many people that he divided it into 12. But it was like, nah, that doesn't make sense really. Divided into 12 for what? The Bible say it was a wall formed of water from side to side that they passed through, which is why when the children of Israel made it through, the water closed in on the Egyptians, end up drowning them. Read on.
And took off their chariot wheels, and they drove them heavily. So the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord frightened for them against the Egyptians."
Man, the Egyptians seen that happen and was like, look, I think we should flee from this. Because clearly the Lord is fighting against us. He didn't split the Red Sea. He got them walking through it. What happened when they tried to pursue? The Lord closed that drawn in on them, start drowning them, which still to this day, they still finding chariots and certain artifacts down at the bottom of the Red Sea that they dating back to the time of Moses. Go ahead.
If I could, this is still a different story, but maybe if you wrote they divided it into 12 parts after the children of Israel got through to confuse the Egyptians, like that, maybe that ain't.
Then that'll make sense a little bit.
That is what it say happened.
Right.
That'll like make sense. That don't make sense.
Right.
And if I could, it kind of remind me of like definitely somebody trying to embellish the story. Like I'm reading the story, I'm about to because even like Jacob, I'm gonna kill my brother. It ain't really touched on, you know what I'm saying, too much. So it's like let me just add some extra.
Right.
Kill my brother or the rest. It's like
the behind the scenes that they don't know about.
Yeah, it's like when somebody else explained the story. You know what I'm saying? It's like
right.
Punched him in the face. It's like no, he didn't.
Right.
He pushed him.
Right.
It's like,
was it a punch?
Like, it's 12 parts. Like it's it reminds me of the Quran. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like
right.
Y'all just read it and then y'all just start making stuff up. Like it's kind of obvious.
Yeah. When you add yourself in it, you do a little extra to make it sound better. When it was, because saying the story for what it is, I mean, it might not sound right to the person you telling it to. So it's like, yo, guess what? Y'all was rocking with Moses, man. He split the sea. Bro, he split that sea into 12 parts, man. What? We was running through them. Man, we was getting it on. Yo, it was so crazy. But saying, yo, he split the sea into one part and we all were just running through it, running from the Egyptians. Nah, they got to add extra stuff on it because, and most of the people that write this story really, okay, I ain't going to say that they don't read the Bible. They read it. They just don't understand it. It's stuff that's so simple to them. They can't see how it's that simple because they look at the Bible as magical. It's like, yo, he split the Red Sea. Nah, okay, that's a miracle. That's magic, but he had to do it in 12 parts. 12 tribes of Israel. It's 12 tribes. Yeah, because Judah had to go through this. Reuben had to go through. Now they start getting adding their philosophy on it. And oh yeah, listen. He divided it into 12 parts to symbolize the 12 tribes of Israel. And it's like, that's not what it said, though. That's not at all what it said. Go ahead.
If I could, right, I would challenge anybody to ask the Arab Muslims and the Black Muslims. I feel like the Black Muslims has got a little bit more on earth than the Arab Muslims.
Right.
Ask them about Jesus and about stuff. Ask them about Moses and see the shit they tell you.
Right.
That shit is not important. I don't know what they tell. I asked them
right.
at my slavery something about Jesus, and he was like, Jesus not really dead. He really went somewhere and all this.
Yeah, he hiding, waiting to come back.
I'm like, what the? I'm like, did you read that in the Quran? Nah, I just know. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, nah, this the one. Yeah, they add, they always add on to the story, and they add on stuff that's not in the book they believe or in the Bible, the book they don't believe. It's just, you know, they sit around and they do their little research and they think, okay, this actually makes sense. So it's kind of like, instead of telling a story straightforward, you can't, because to you yourself it don't make sense. So you have to exaggerate, and then the person that's listening, like the whole world know about the story of Moses. Like that's like one of the most common stories in the Bible. So to add to it, like even when you see movies about it, it don't even say that. So like, okay, where did you get this information from to say that he divided it into 12 parts? Because the movies that they, you know, create after the Bible doesn't do that. What archaeologists pulled this information up? Like, what book you read that in? You have to just show me what record or what scroll you even found to back up your story, because the Bible been around for thousands of years. So to make a claim like that and to get a common story like that off, it's just like, come on, man, you just making stuff up. And all this come from the Roman Catholic, come from the Roman Catholic Church. They created a lot of these a lot of these books, right? When you get some of their Bibles, they got the Book of Mary in it. Miriam, the one that Christ said, Eve without sin cast the first stone, got her own book. Christ's mother got her own book. Gabriel got his own book. I done heard people say there was 12 disciples. Why is only 4 of them that have their own book? Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So the other disciples supposed to have their own book, which is necessarily true. The other disciples did have a book, their own book. But you see how even as of today, we read the book of Matthew and they read the book of Luke. It's the same thing, just from a different perspective. Why would they have 12 of the same stories in the Bible from different perspectives? Like, okay, we get it. This brother might tell you the same story, but he don't get as detailed as it. Like in the book of Matthew, it tell you the lineage of Christ, but it tell you the prominent people in his lineage. But then you go to the book of Luke, it tells you from the dad, the granddad, the great-granddad, the great-granddad. It gets more detailed. So you might run into some brothers who, you know, like, he gonna keep it short and simple. Yo, all I know is they pulled up, start fighting. He ended up on the ground, head bust open. That's all I know. Then you get another brother like, yo, they pulled up, he punched him in the face, picked him up, slammed him on his head, took a brick, hit him, boom. Took his car, hit him, boom. When he leave the scene, his head was bust open, he on the ground. It's the same story. One is just like, you know, more detailed. So it's like, yeah, all the disciples had their book, right? And even Enoch also had his own book. The scriptures tell you, right? Because, matter of fact, let me get that. Genesis. Give me Genesis 5:24. Let me see what that says. But there's a reason, like Judas was a disciple. Judas don't have his own book. You don't think Judas wrote down his account of what he seen with Christ? All of them did. That's what scribes were for. Disciples were for. They wrote down their account. But we're going to have 12 books of the same story. That's not how it's going to go. They're going to take the best books that makes, okay, all right, this is the one. Whatever the Lord see fit, that's the one that's going to make it. Go ahead.
If I could, too, it's just like, this is the other thing about being in here versus, you know what I'm saying, being anywhere else and trying to follow the Bible, is you understand it because we do it. You know what I'm saying? We go to camp and we have an incident, we get a report. You know what I'm saying? We got a video of something that happened. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to tell you what happened. It's the one brother that's going to tell you what happened. You know what I'm saying? And that just makes more sense for the, like, you need a bunch of reports when the police is like separate witnesses. Like,
Right.
That's when everybody got to report with. But if it's just like you just making your own account of what happened, you don't need, like you said, we just use the better notes or the better report. You know what I'm saying? Versus using, everybody's, to where you need 12 different. Even that would be kind of distracting, because then, you know what I'm saying? Like, that might not even been my job that day to be the one talking or. I might be on security that day. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm on security, I'm not paying attention to, you know what I'm saying, everything that's being said, because I'm making sure nothing happened to the brothers or something like that. Or I might have been, you know what I'm saying, the brother that was in charge of dealing with the people, or whatever their roles was back then. You know, you would have had, you know what I'm saying, different roles. It's just like 12 cats just rolling with you. They got ranked. You decide to put them how you put them to do whatever they got to do. And it's easier to understand it than here than somewhere else.
Right. No, that's a fact. Let me see. Oh, hold on, not Genesis 5, 24. Hold on, let me see. Oh, let me get this real quick. Isupk, LEC. Not your bear with me. Ain't no questions online, is it? Oh, here we go. I'm trying to find the. Hold on. I'm trying to find this. Hold on. Where it mentions.
This is in the Bible or in
Yeah, in the Bible, where it talks about the book of Enoch. Damn, I just had it in my goddamn notes. We probably gonna have to move on for time's sake. We're gonna move on for time's sake. I'm gonna still search for it. But finish what you had. I think I'm looking for the. I think I'm looking for the book of Enoch on this. Yeah, all right. Finish on what you had. I'm gonna find it.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 24. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat.
All right, we're gonna go to something. We're gonna go to something else. Hold on. I just sent it to you. Oh no, hold on. Let me do it now. This one right here is a good one too. So let me show this link real quick. Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ, what's up? Hold on, let me see. I think I might have sent you this link real quick. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Hold on. You got any questions?
There's only a couple verses in this.
Well, I just sent you the link. It's 7 and 2. You got a question? All right. All right, you can read it. Let me knock out this real quick. 7 and 2.
It's like,
Oh yeah, no, you can read it.
Book of Enoch, chapter 7 and verse 2. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants.
read verse 1.
And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind.
You know what this is talking about? This is talking about angels having sex with the women and creating kids. And then the kids that these angels made was giants who eventually rebelled against mankind. And that's how mankind was wiped off the face of the earth. Because of the angels sleeping with the women. Which the scripture they're referring to where it says the sons of God slept with women or something like that. It said the sons of God has slept with the daughters of men or something like that. And they try to say that was angels sleeping with women.
It's Genesis 6 and 2.
Genesis 6 and 2? Yeah, you can read that.
Genesis 6 and 2. It says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Yeah, so they try to use this scripture to say that the sons of God are angels, which we know that's not true. The sons of God what is the sons of God? What the scripture say? That's the what?
Could the sons of God at first were the children of Adam? I thought.
Yeah, and so let me see. Let me get the precept real quick. Get the precept. Because Christ said it. Christ mentioned it. The sons of God. Sons of God. Who did Christ say the sons of God are? Sons of God. But when Christ said, who's my father? Who's my mother? Those that do the will of the what he said, the children of my father. And there's another precept in paraphrasing where it says, it actually say, those that do the will of my father are the children of my father. So the sons of God is anybody who keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what it was. So they tried to use the term sons of God as if it was an angel because they believe Christ was the son of God, which means he was, God himself. Some people believe he was the actual son of God because he was immaculately conceived through Mary. So that's what it means for the son of God. So a lot of them like to take that scripture and say, well, the sons of God that slept with the daughters of men was angels. What does it mean for the son of God to sleep with the daughters of men? Let me see. I look like you're about to raise your hand. You're about to raise your hand and get a chew for a shot. So I gave you who the sons of God is. So who are the daughters of men?
Men are like daughters from the other nations.
Yeah. Daughters of men is heathen women. That's what they did. They was the brothers who was sons of gods and was believing in the law, statutes, and commandment was sleeping with heathen women, which ultimately caused the flood of Noah from them, sleeping with heathen women. That's what made the Most High flood the earth, or one of the reasons, because they were sleeping with heathen women. That's all it means. So let me see. I think he was on 8. Read that again, Ashtawat. Which verse you left off?
7 and 2, but I was on like 5.
It was on 5. All right. I think we to wild with that because I got a few more I wanted to go into. Let me get the brother question first. What was your question?
I was on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
And posted up the boot kids joint on my TikTok. So the Edomite, he said something about we let historical events define us, and like we have a victim mentality.
Right.
So I want to know how you can combat Edomite or anybody who say, "Well, y'all keep blaming the white man, that should leave it in the past," and y'all blaming them, y'all not letting them go, and y'all claiming that y'all victims and stuff like that. Like how we with scripture the combat.
All right. Do you know what he believed in? I'm assuming he was a Christian, more than likely.
I don't know.
He ain't say?
No, he just
yeah. But the victim mentality. They saying we got a victim mentality because we letting past events define us. So we making them kiss our boot because of what they did in the past to us. Right? So they always ask questions like that. They just asking it in a different way. Like usually people like that usually come up and be like, they are the same people who say slavery was so long ago. Why are you Worried about that was so long ago. You wasn't there. I wasn't there. Why you hate me? When when this, but those are the same people who still celebrate 9/11, for one. Still celebrate Christmas. Christmas is Christ's birthday, they say. We celebrating it because, or matter of fact, Easter. That's the perfect thing. I'm pretty sure you celebrate Easter. That's the death of Christ. And like I said, 9/11. You ask them about the Jewish Holocaust. It was a tragic event. But the number one thing you ask them though is how you combat with that is, okay, so you shouldn't have no problem with 9/11 then. I'm happy 9/11 happened. What? How would you say that? You happy 9/11? I mean, well, technically that's in the past. They need to let that go. For real. You could bet that with bringing up certain events that took place that they're like, the reason they're disagreeing with what we're doing is because they see black people getting something that they don't want them to get, which is a white man bowing down and kissing a boot. That is like, who is this nigga? Who do these niggas think they is? I would never do that. I don't care. I'm not kissing y'all boot because of what my ancestors did 3,000 years ago. I wasn't even there. You wasn't there. How you even know it happened? And this, yeah. Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, shalom. So it's like, it's to a point where you start bringing up, and I'm gonna give you a scripture too, right? So, and you start there, start bringing up Holocaust, ask them about the Holocaust, ask them about, 9/11. Just start bringing up past events that were tragic that happened to other nations, which is not even going to outdate slavery. They never going to have a problem with that. But let me give you a scripture. Here's one reason why we do it. Deuteronomy 32:7. Could you hit me up on some more of the strong and the chaser? And whoever get it. Yeah, the strong and the chaser. Or yeah, I'll take that. Whichever one open. (32:7). Whoever get it first.
I got it.
Oh yeah, you can read.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old.
Remember the days of old. We remember in the days of old. Right? So, yeah, it happened so long ago, but we remembering it. And then people like that have pictures of dead relatives around their house that they're never going to let go. And they're going to always keep their name alive. They got a chain somewhere, a t-shirt somewhere, or just pictures of a relative that passed away. In 30 years, they still going to have it. They're going to remember this relative. They remembering it. But with us, it's, y'all got to let slavery go. Really, you want us to let it go because you can't stand just some niggas from the ghetto. You looking at them like, who these niggas think they is, man? Like, they ain't out there and they got your people bowing down. That's never happened. Like, in instances where that does happen, it's always like it's planned. It's it's something that's sketched up to capture the people mind that's watching or something. But to get some niggas from the hood, they listening to us talk and they like, man, these niggas can't even pronounce half of the words right. These niggas don't got no big vocabulary. Yeah, dude, like, and then half of us is on the mic like, yeah, I dropped out. I ain't go to school for this. I ain't go to school to learn this. So it's just some niggas somewhere in a room learning the Bible. And here we are on the street making some devil bow down. Hey, let it go. Because if we let that go, you know what that means? There's no reason for us to be out here making devils bow down and kiss our boot. I mean, they don't want to see that because they're used to seeing us do it. And, you know, they used to seeing us kissing up to them and begging them for jobs and doing everything. So it's, you know, they can't help themselves because just like that, they say stuff like we playing the victim. We not playing the victim for calling out what was actually done. Like you can't be a victim for speaking on something that actually happened. You know, they're not, oh man, he raped you 20 years ago. Stop playing a victim. No. Yo, keep him in jail as long as possible. Hey, but he did it. It was 20 years ago. You just still playing the victim. Why are you still playing the victim this time? No, keep him in jail. But when it comes to us to talk about something that actually happened and that still affects us till this day, we got to forget about it and let it go. Like, you know what type of backlash we would catch if we go out on the streets every 9/11 and, man, F 9/11, let it go. What? How dare we? 9/11, yo, 9/11 was what? 20 plus years ago. And they're going to keep that up forever. The so-called Holocaust was how long? They're going to keep that up forever. Slavery is still affecting us as a people. And they want us to, how can we forget about it when we still getting shot down in the street? When the same stuff that got us killed in slavery is getting us killed today. So y'all want us to let it go? Go ahead.
Could too. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, once you get more seasoned in this truth, dealing with Esau gets easier and easier. He has zero moral high ground to sit there and talk about anybody. Like eventually, you just gonna realize that he just don't want to be held accountable for none of his actions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the times, that's just really what it is. He don't want to be held accountable. So when you cut him, it's like Officer Danielle bringing up. There's so many ways to cut them, even within that scripture where it says, "Thy king shall be thy nurse and father." It's just like, well, we took our men who would have been men of renown. Y'all made them work for you. You made them pick cotton. You made them take care of your children. You made our women take care of your children. So it's like it's really justice, and a lot of times that's where you want to go to, because they went over there and destroyed the Arabs for 9/11. That was like 3,000 people. They killed millions. They started making up new stuff. What was it? Weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
There no weapons over there. You understand what I'm saying? So then you lied. Right. So technically, since you lied and said it was weapons of mass destruction and you killed more of them, they should have the moral high ground to come over here and do more stuff for y'all. Technically. Right. And that's what he's saying. If you can go do something to somebody else for what they did to you, well, they should do something back to you for what you did to them. Right. Because they didn't have weapons of mass destruction. Right. You made up something to come kill them. So a lot of times you just gotta like deal with Esau like that and just know he's not gonna take accountability. So just blaze him. And it's a scripture that say, "He that stealeth a man, and the man be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death." That's one scripture. And also slavery is legal if you commit a crime, and we number one in jail. So yeah. They making 19 cents an hour. I think it's Louisiana or it might be Mississippi where they got that one jail where the niggas, I think they still pick cotton. And we supposed to forget about that. Read on.
Consider the years of many generations.
Consider the years of many generations. You know what I'm gonna consider? Many generations ago, the things that they did to black people. Right? The things that they set in place that still affect us till this day. You know, I'm going to consider the days of old. I'm going to consider many generations. I'm going to hear what happened many generations ago when I wasn't even here, when I didn't even exist. And I'm going to consider it. I'm going to consider what they did to us in slavery, because we might not be picking cotton or getting whipped in the back, but all they did was just upgrade technology, and they're doing it in a different way now. Like, it's a new technology. They don't need a whip to beat us in the back now. It's technology upgrade. Every year, technology upgrade, they get smarter. Back then, whips was the highest form of technology that they can use on us. And then now, you know, they used to chase us down on horses, and, you know, things like that. And then they started inventing automobiles where they could catch your ass a little bit faster. Before, they used to put yokes of iron around your neck and have you in the field working for free. So now the same labor that they had you doing for free, all they do is add like a little bit of money on top and, you know, give it to you. Like, can you imagine, you know, let's say working an hour of doing cement laying and then somebody come give you $30? Like, huh, thanks for your help. It's like, what? You know what I just did? Can you imagine? But that's what they do, because instead of them giving us just the $30 every hour, we're gonna make them work 8 hours, and then we're gonna pay them 5 days, and you get your paycheck, and then you still can't make a living off of it. You still can't do it. It's harder for us to get in higher positions. We got to go through the loops. We got to have all type of degrees and masters. We got to go through the most. You can't tell me we still not living in slavery. Some people be having by far way more credentials than devils and still can't do it. Brother got 20 years of experience in this. This devil, 18, 19, and he's going to get it. Like, I can't tell you how many slaveries I had where my supervisor was probably like 10 years younger than me. And then I'll be like, damn, how you get this job? Oh, well, my dad, he's the boss. And it's like, that's why this place is being ran the way it's ran. You have no clue what the hell you doing. What are you doing here? Like, what? I've literally got this devil by 15 years. He's fresh out of high school. Didn't even go to college. Hey, yeah, man, I'm gonna be 19 next month. What? You running all this? Meanwhile, this brother over here been here 25 years. He know the ins and out. What? He knows how to he know what to do. He know how to get this place running. But because Weinstein got a son who fresh out of college and he don't want his son dibbling his bank account, he's going to give it to him. And this sister been here 30 years. And this brother been here 30 years. And you look around, it's brothers who damn near about to retire. And they've been there so long. And it's like, why are you not in a position to run this place? I remember I worked at this one slavery where this brother was working there for about a year. And then they fired him. And then I finally ran into the brother. I'm like, dang, what happened? You quit? He was like, no, they fired me. And I'm like, fired you for what? They went back. He had a weed charge. Now listen to this. He had a weed charge in 87. I was like, but I thought they not supposed to go back further than 10 years. He said, I thought so too. This brother was in his 60s working at this slave. He had a weed charge in 87 and they found it on his record and fired him. They fired him for it. He said, I tried to fight it, but I just gave up after a while. And I'm sitting there like, 87? I wasn't even born. I wasn't even born then. Like, what? He was like, yeah, it was a weed charge in 87 that they found on my record. And that was the last charge. I was like, nah, you could sue or something. Like, that don't sound right. Like, what? And he was like, man, I just give up, man. I ain't want to go through all that. And I'm like, yo, the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He dug back that far to fire you over a weed charge. He was like, yeah, I was a teenager. I was young and dumb. I haven't caught a case since then. And I'm like, nah, this can't be real. But we know why stuff like that happened. It's because slavery. Nothing never changed. A lot of people think because they put us in positions to run a place. That's why a lot of us, we all had that one supervisor who was a brother or a sister. And they are sometimes by far worse than the oppressors. It seems like they feel like they got more to prove. Sitting there like, come on, man. You know why I was late, man. Cut me some goddamn slack. You know how I get. you know, you just doing little stuff natural around the job, and Esau walk by is cool. They walk by, it's almost like the worst thing in the. All that stuff come from slavery. So I'm gonna consider the generations, you know, that's told to me. When I done had talks with my grandfather and everything, heard some of the stories he told me, and it's like I'm gonna take some of them stories into consideration. You know, them stories where he's 10 years old and he's getting chased in pickup trucks from Southwest to West Philly, coming from school, a 10-year-old being chased by white people back in his day, getting beat up by white people just because he was just a little child trying to go to school. He couldn't go to his neighborhood school. He had to travel. I'm going to take that into consideration, all the stuff that he told me that they put him through back in his day, all the fights he had to go through. Grown men. He's fighting grown goddamn men just because he want to go to school. Mom working 2 jobs, father working 2 jobs. He got to find his way to school and yet have to make it back home. To where as though he said he used to get chased, it got to a point where he'd come home and wouldn't even tell his parents. That's how normal it was. It was like, as long as you don't get caught, that's cool. Can you imagine your child coming home telling you that grown men chased him and tried to hurt him? It got to a point where it was no need to tell his mom and dad because he made it home. Grown men chased him to beat him up. They caught him a few times, whipped his ass, he said, and it was still like, we're going to have to find a new route for you to go. When the hell you going to do? Call the cops?
Right.
They going to act like they can't find the people who did it. We talking about a 10-year-old, a preteen, who have to get his ass whipped and then find a different route to go home because grown men want to beat his ass because he's a black child. I'm gonna take stuff like that into consideration. That's not normal stuff. Isupk, yeah, Jane.
If I could, I got something that I would like to read it just a while. Before that, what you bringing out so heavy because it's like that just made me think like that's really what turned you into a homeborn slave.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? When somebody says that you can't talk about the things that your people have gone through or the things that another group of people have put your people through, that turns you into a slave. Why am I saying that? Because there was a time where they pulled you straight off a boat and you remembered your homeland, or you remember where you came from, that you wasn't a slave. Like you remember, like I just wasn't. I'm 20 years old. I just got kidnapped.
Right.
I just wasn't living here. Now some devil speaking to me, hit me, telling me I got a new name and all this, that, and the third. Naturally, your spirit is going to want to rebel. But after a couple of generations of children born, after you kill the people that remember, or you don't let the people that remember, you know what I'm saying, really deal too much with the children, to where the children are just there and they don't remember what happened. Like that's what's wrong with our children today is that they don't remember. They don't know where the hell they are. You understand what I'm saying? They think going to prison is cool.
Right.
It's a badge of honor, but really going to prison is going back into slavery. And if I could, that's what I want to read a little bit of. It says, today's prisoners, this is from the innocenceproject.org. It says, today's prisoners in most states are paid a nominal wage in the range of $6 per hour for their work. However, a few states, including Texas, Georgia, and Florida, do not pay prisoners at all. And private companies save millions of dollars each year by contracting prison labor. So instead of us hiring Americans, like they say, you understand what I'm saying, and hiring people and paying them a good wage for their labor, for sending it overseas, you just, like, and then you got to think of the mentality too. We have to find people to lock up so that we can get a contract from this business to get prison labor. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to pay somebody where they would be getting $30, $40, $50 an hour. We're going to give them 57 cents for an hour work, or $2.13 for an hour work, having them out there working all day, doing a job.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it says, the 2 places that I was talking about, is one in Mississippi and there's one in Louisiana. It's Parchment Farm in Mississippi, and Louisiana's Angola Farm is the other one. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Salaki, it's gonna talk about the, of course, the slavery, you know what I'm saying, was abolished, but then they was able to rebrand it as prison labor. It says, let me show that the right part. It says today the prison spans 18,000 acres. Most of it is farmland, and its slavery era name is still in use. So what they did was they had a place where they had slaves on the plantation. Then they put like a little prison there. Then they said it was wrong to do the prison the way they was doing it, so they bought even more land, and then found a legal way to make the farmland that they bought, which is 18,000 acres. They found another way to make it back a prison, and then that's what it's talking about right here. It says about 5,300 people are incarcerated in Angola, and approximately 1,800 people work there, many of whom live with their families on the prison grounds, which includes schools, golf course, tennis court, and pool for their use. So the people that work there, like our prison labor is feeding the people in this town. You understand what I'm saying? And it says people incarcerated at Angola are paid a few cents an hour to work the same fields, picking cotton, corn, and more for the same land slaves were forced to work 200 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? And then to go on top of that, they just had Mexicans in slavery in Georgia like 3 years ago. You understand? So they doing slave labor right now. They brought them over here for a project to get them citizenship. Then they took all their stuff from them, all their paperwork, took it from them, and made them do slave labor, and was shipping them out to other people's farms. Like the oppressor didn't change.
Right. Not at all. Not at all. Let's finish that scripture. What is up?
Ask thy father, and he will shew thee.
If you ask your father about the days of old, your father is going to show you. He's going to show you what happened. He's going to tell you some stories. Read.
Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
If you ask your elders, they will tell you. Talk to some of these older brothers and sisters, man. They're going to tell you some stories. That's what a lot of people is afraid to do. Like there's a book that we read in here. It's called Tell the Children My Story. Right? And it's about a lot of the people that were slaves who tell their story. Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ. Who tell a story about what they went through and what they experienced. A lot of people were scared to have conversations with them. You want to know why? Because having a conversation with them would give them a reason to not like the oppressor. And a lot of them want to put, slavery and the stuff that we go through behind us so much that, an older brother who has a lot of wisdom and knowledge about what they went through, they don't want to ask them that. They looking at that brother like, even though what took place with you happened 30 years ago, you should get over that. So they're not going to talk to him to hear about the story about the laughing barrels or when he was 8 years old getting chased home by grown men, getting his ass whipped by grown men. They don't want to hear stories like that because it's hard to tell somebody, hey, you got to let that go. That was back then. Was it? Like we talk about, I was 8 years old fighting grown men because I'm black, and it became normal. So a lot of them like to shy away from stories like that because they don't want to remember. And then now when they hear stories like that, it makes sense why, they see us out there getting boot kisses. Like a boot kiss, it totally makes sense. Because not only am I doing this for what my ancestors went through in slavery, I'm doing this for what my goddamn grandfather went through back in the 60s and the 70s. I'm this boot kiss is for them also. Like I'm gonna record this and I'm gonna go show my goddamn grandfather. Hey, look what happened. He's going to be so proud of what happened because that's what he wants. So to finally see in his lifetime, he finally see the day where they are on their knees bowing. Like we ain't no celebrities. We not no, niggas that's rich or none of that. We niggas that work 9 to 5, got, families and problems like everybody else. And here we are, boots not even in the best condition most of the time. We pulling together everything to get down here. We hopping out of 3 cars with equipment in it. We hot. We pulling it together. It's on a weekend where everybody would like to be out partying and chasing tail. Here we are out here getting white people to kiss our boot. I don't care if it's if it's a crackhead, if they are an oppressor and they kiss our boots, they still don't like that. That's still a win. That is still a win for some uneducated niggas who's, just out here. I heard this brother pronounce Pacific specific and everything, and yet they getting people to kiss their boot. Nah, usually a person, if Jay-Z get a white person to kiss his boot, it would not be no uproar. It'd be totally understandable. That's what you mean? If LeBron, 50, any of those, Lil Wayne, any of the people, TD Jakes, any of them get any white people to bow down and kiss their boots, it would not be an issue whatsoever. It'd be understandable. Like, yo, they should. But you just kiss my boot and I'm about to go hop on the train and go home. Like, what? You know what you just did? Nah. Listen, y'all niggas is playing the victims. That's the problem. No, I just hear the stories about what happened, and I listen to my grandparents and I listen to the elders and whatnot. A lot of older people who see I'm a Hebrew Israelite, they take the opportunity to talk to me, especially in my neighborhood, and they love telling me the stories. Some of them is because they Christian and they love Caesar Borgia so much that is almost like, yo, I understand what you're doing. I understand what's going on. Because let me tell you what happened. And they always got some stories that just make you cringe. Like, how we say, yo, that couldn't be me back then. What? I wish they try that now. Well, listen, they was at a time where they was weaker. They was weaker back then, and they never thought that they would see the day where it's just some niggas just out there, headpieces on, boots tucked in. Like, hey, they ain't no army. They ain't got no experience in the military. And then yet we out there with a book that makes them bow down and kiss our boot. Like, that is the craziest thing to see. All you can do is hate or whatnot. You damn right I'm taking a situation that happened 500 years ago and making a problem out of it. Yes, I heard it and I didn't like it. You want to know why? Because that situation that happened 500 years ago is a situation that happened 20 years ago. And I know somebody it happened to. So it makes no difference. I hear you, but you're the same one that if I talk bad about 9/11, it's going to be an issue. We celebrating the death of Christ every year. Let it go. What the hell y'all need Easter for? Let it go. Why does Easter exist? Y'all gonna celebrate the man's birthday, December 25th, and then y'all gonna celebrate the day he died. Why don't y'all just let it go? It's 2,000 years later. Come on. He died how long ago? But say that they're not accepting you saying something like that about Jesus. But something that happened 400 years ago, I have to let go. You just can't take a nigga getting his boot kissed. That's all. And then guess what? I'm going to get plenty more boot kiss, and I'm going to tag you in them now. Since I know you don't like them. You're getting tagged in every boot kiss now. You goddamn devil. So like if somebody had their hand up. Yeah, go ahead.
Could. You know what I'm saying? It's a heavy topic, and it's always something to watch from Esau. For the young brothers, and always watch when Esau true colors in mind. You want Esau to do that. You want him to talk. You want him to keep talking sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Just a test to see where his spirit at, see where his mind at. You know what I'm saying? That's always a good practicing tool for me to, understand, the truth in Esau's spirit. You know what I'm saying? And another thing too, like it was a brother that was making the same argument. Because sometimes brothers say we need to let it go. We got a victim mentality. You know what I'm saying? So he was saying we don't need to teach our children about what they did to us here because it's going to teach them to be victims. But the thing about it is everything they did to us, from slavery, from erasing the history, and then putting drugs in our neighborhood and destroying when we try to organize and stuff like that. When you just look at those things by itself, it's like now you just purposely going out of your way to tear down everything. You understand what I'm saying? And all of our structure. So it's like, anytime you're dealing with Esau, with him saying you're playing the victim mentality, I broke it down like this, right? Imagine if somebody was stealing $100 from your account every month.
Mm-hmm.
No, every week for 30 years. And you found out 30 years. Everybody found out 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? But imagine it didn't bother you. You was fine. You still was able to go and be a success and this, that, and the third. But then the other families weren't fine. They needed that $400 a month. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, that's kind of our condition as a people. It's like some of us will end up, you know what I'm saying, in a position where they'll see us and bring us up and give us some type of status, or we'll figure out a way to make it. But at the same time, it's like other brothers is in the grave, other sisters in the grave, other people's families destroyed completely by the drug era. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just like the way the levels of the destruction that we went through, even like marriages, like people look at the way, oh, where your dad at? Your dad left the house. Well, your people put drugs in my community. You understand what I'm saying? And took the work away that we did have. And when we was after slavery having all the skills, y'all didn't want us to have the skills first. So and then don't hire black people, hire white people. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like y'all went through something systematically to where we didn't have jobs, and then you brought the drugs over here and put it in our neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? And destroyed our organizations on purpose when we try to get our own people back off of drugs. We send the CIA in there, destroy that. Use the CIA to bring drugs over here on the plane, put it on them, put the guns in their neighborhood, get us to destroy ourselves, and keep feeding the prison system. So you feed the prison system, which is making money. Like, we get such a 360 deal with your oppressor. They want to say, let it go. Listen, I can't find a woman to marry because you destroyed our family. You understand what I'm saying? When I do find a woman, she's gonna go to you and put me on child support, or try to take my child away from me to raise my child. Or if I try to raise my child in a mind state, understanding what happened, just teach them the truth. Now I'm an enemy of the day of my woman, of the state. Now everybody's enemy for teaching the truth. So it's so multifaceted. There's so many ways to just go at an oppressor to even try to say, or even a brother or a sister to try to say, oh, you got a victim mentality. It's not, we take into account of what happened. Because some people, your mentality don't matter what position you in that. Your father was on drugs, you was on drugs, you was in jail. You understand? Your brother was in jail. Your father is institutionalized. He tried to raise you the best he could, but he done been out of jail his whole life. You understand what I'm saying? Why was he in and out of jail his whole life? Because the conditions that you got put in. No, when the Jews went through the Holocaust, you understood. The Nazis put them in the ghettos. They put us in the ghetto. Right. They wouldn't let us move next to them where they had the better education. You see, when we tried to go to school with them, they needed the National Guard, so we didn't die to try to go to school with them. And these is children. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just so many levels to it. It just blaze like, even you saying like it's a victim mentality, like it's very dismissive of what another people go through, and that's just even more proof that you the devil about to speak. It's a lot. Right. No, that's real rap. So let me see. Was that the end of that scripture? All right. Any questions in the room? Any questions in the room? Ain't no questions online? All right, so with that, I'm gonna pass the class off to Priest and Officer I.S.U.P.K.